Good afternoon, viewers. Welcome to Civil Services Prime Time by Civic Center IAS. Today, we are going to deal with week 5, that is from 28th September to 2nd October 2025, miscellaneous current affairs. There are totally 8 current affairs, and the topic of importance is Report of Crime in India 2023. The topics of the week are, first one is PM Kisan. The second one is again the program PM E-Drive. The third one is the report of NCRB report of farmer suicides in India 2023. And the fourth one is World Para Athletic Championship 2025. The sixth one is the award Young Champions of the Earth Award 2025. And the sixth one is Business Line Change Maker of the Year. Seventh one, World Tourism Award 2025. And the last one is K Visa. And the topic of the importance is Crime in India 2025, which is released by NCRB. So coming to the first scheme, which is Pradhan Mantri Kisan Samman Nidhi, which is PM Kisan. It is recently in news because Centre recently released nearly 540 crore under the August-November installment. Through this scheme, beneficiaries are recently hit by floods. Those states are Himachal Pradesh, Punjab and Uttarakhand. These 3 states recently they are hit by the floods. So PM Kisan కింద గవర్నమెంట్ సెంట్రల్ గవర్నమెంట్ దీనికి 540 crore వీటికి 540 crores ని రిలీజ్ చేసింది. సో కమింగ్ టు ద డీటెయిల్స్ ఆఫ్ PM Kisan ఇట్ ఈస్ ఎ సెంట్రల్ సెక్టర్ స్కీమ్. అంటే సెంటర్ టోటల్గా 100% దీనికి ఫండ్ చేస్తుంది. వెన్ ఇట్ వాస్ లాంచ్డ్ ఇన్ December 2018 and it was came into force in 2019. So who are the beneficiaries under this program are the land holding farmer families, that is who are having land ownerships. The aim is to provide the financial assistance. So who will identify the beneficiaries? This is done by state governments and union territories as per the scheme guidelines. There are some exclusions also for under this scheme. The beneficiaries of the higher economic status shall not be eligible under this scheme. So what is the benefit under the scheme is Prati farm family ki who are eligible under this scheme, Prati farm family ki nearly 6,000 per year government istundi. So that is given in 4 quarterly installments. Ante 4 months ki okasari total ga 3 times, each time 2,000. So 6,000 rupees ni eligible farmer families ki ee scheme kinda istaru. So who is the implementing ministry is Department of Agriculture and Farmer Welfare, Ministry of Agriculture and Farmer Welfare, implemented through PM Kisan portal, that is through with the direct benefit transfer. So exclusion categories are, there are nearly 6 exclusion categories under this program. The first one are the present of farmer who handle the constitutional post holders, who are present or former constitutional post holders. And the second one are present or former ministers, MLAs, MPs, mayors, ZP, chairpersons, etc. And the third one are serving or retired officers and employees of central, state governments and public sector undertaking, etc. The fourth one is government pensioners. And the fifth one is income taxpayers last annual year, who all paid the income tax last year are not eligible under this, excluded under this program. And the final one are professionals. They are doctors, engineers, lawyers, etc., architects, chartered accountants. These are all who are practicing it are not excluded from this scheme. So related schemes to the farmers are, the first one is Pradhan Mantri Krishi Sinchai Yojana. It offers crop insurance against natural calamities like floods, droughts, etc. The second one is Pradhan Mantri Fasal Bima Yojana. ఈ program యొక్క main aim ఏంటంటే to enhance irrigation coverage and water use efficiency ని ఈ రెండింటిని enhance చేయడం అనేది ఈ ప్రోగ్రామ్ యొక్క మెయిన్ ఎయిమ్. ద థర్డ్ వన్ ఈజ్ సాయిల్ హెల్త్ కార్డ్ స్కీమ్. ఈ కార్డ్ కింద ఏమి ఇస్తారంటే ఫార్మర్స్కి దే విల్ డెలివర్ వాళ్ళ యొక్క సాయిల్ న్యూట్రియన్ స్టేటస్ ఏంటి అన్నది ఫార్మర్స్కి తెలియజేస్తారు. దీనివల్ల వాళ్ళు సాయిల్ని బట్టి ఎంత ఫెర్టిలైజర్ యూస్ చేయాలి, బ్యాలెన్స్డ్ ఫెర్టిలైజర్ ఎంత యూస్ చేయాలనేది వాళ్ళకి తెలుస్తుంది. అండ్ ఈ నామ్ క్రియేట్స్ ఎ యూనిఫైడ్ నేషనల్ డిజిటల్ మార్కెట్ ఫర్ అగ్రికల్చరల్ ప్రొడ్యూస్. ద ఫోర్త్ వన్ ఈజ్ కిసాన్ క్రెడిట్ కార్డ్. దీని ద్వారా ఏం చేస్తారంటే ఫార్మర్స్కి ఎప్పుడైతే వాళ్ళకి నీడ్ ఉందో దానికి తగ్గట్టు వాళ్ళు టైమ్లీ క్రెడిట్ ఇస్తారు with low interest. Government will give the timely credit for the farmers with low interest. And the next one is Paramparagat Krishi Vikas Yojana to promote organic farming through cluster-based approaches. Coming to the second scheme is PM E-Drive. PM Electric Drive Resolution in Innovative Vehicle Enhancement. It is recently news because government recently EV charging infrastructure under this program. ఈ PM E-Drive కింద EV charging infrastructure కి 100% subsidy provide చేసింది. So coming to the details of PM E-Drive. ఈ డ్రైవ్ అన్నది ఇది విచ్ టైప్ ఆఫ్ స్కీమ్ అంటే సెంట్రల్ సెక్టర్ స్కీమ్. సో టోటలీ ఫండెడ్ బై ద సెంట్రల్ గవర్నమెంట్. సో దీని యొక్క టెన్యూర్ ఎప్పుడంటే ఇట్ కేమ్ ఇన్ టు ఎఫెక్ట్ ఇన్ September 1st, 2024 అండ్ ఇట్ విల్ బీ రిమైన్ ఇన్ ఫోర్స్ అంటిల్ March 31st, 2028. So India has registered nearly 57 lakhs electric vehicles by February 2025. అంటే మనం నార్మల్ వెహికల్స్ నుంచి ఎలక్ట్రిక్ వెహికల్స్కి స్లోగా ఇంప్రూవ్ అవుతున్నాం అనమాట, అడాప్ట్ చేసుకుంటున్నాం. సో ఈ స్కీమ్ యొక్క మేజర్ ఆబ్జెక్టివ్స్ ఏంటంటే ఫస్ట్ వన్ ఈస్ టు ఎంకరేజ్ ద అడాప్షన్ ఆఫ్. ఈ స్కీమ్ యొక్క మెయిన్ ఆబ్జెక్టివ్ ఏంటంటే ఫస్ట్ టు ఎంకరేజ్ ద అడాప్ట్ ఆఫ్ ఎలక్ట్రిక్ అండ్ హైబ్రిడ్ వెహికల్స్. ఈ ఎలక్ట్రిక్ అండ్ హైబ్రిడ్ వెహికల్స్ని ఇంకా ఎక్కువ ఇంకా అడాప్ట్ చేసుకునే ఎంకరేజ్ చేయడం. ద సెకండ్ వన్ ఈస్ టు ప్రమోట్ ద డొమెస్టిక్ టెక్నాలజీ, our own technology to develop electric vehicles, otherwise we are depending on other countries for the technology. To promote manufacturing of battery electric vehicles, and is also the main one is creating a strong and globally competitive viable and self-sufficient EV industry in India. So who are the target beneficiaries under the scheme? The first one is commercial and private electric two-wheelers and three-wheelers with advanced batteries, and e-ambulances and e-trucks with scrapping certificates that they are totally scrapped, and electric buses for the public transport. These are the target beneficiaries. So for this 100% subsidy, the first 9 cities with a population of more than 40 lakh were targeted initially. They are Mumbai, Delhi, Bangalore, Hyderabad, Ahmedabad, Chennai, Kolkata, Surat, Pune. So allocation, coming to the budget allocations under this PM E-Drive. So nearly 44 crores are allocated, deployed for 14,000 e-buses, PM e-buses Seva scheme, and for this nearly 4,400 crores has been allocated for the deployment of these e-buses. So for the adequate public charging infrastructure, nearly 2,000 crores was allocated under this program. So in cities with a population of exceeding nearly 1 million as per the 2021 census, and the smart cities which are notified by the Ministry of Housing and Urban Affairs, and also satellite towns which connects 7 major metro cities. So what are the other relevant schemes? The first one is FAME 1 and FAME 2, foster adaptation and manufacturing of hybrid and electric vehicles. FAME 1 was started in 2025 to 2019, and the FAME 2 is from 2019 to 2024. And under PM E-Drive, it was merged into the PM E-Drive. And the second one is EMPS, Electric Mobility Promotion Scheme 2024. This is a short scheme. This is also subsumed under the PM E-Drive. It is mainly focused on incentivizing two-wheelers and three-wheelers. It was started in 2024 and it is ended in 2024 only, nearly 4 months span only. The third one is National Electric Mobility Mission Plan. This one is launched in 2013 to promote electric vehicles and to reduce the fossil fuel dependence. This was launched in 2013 and it was roadmap till 2020. So the other thing is Niti Aayog recently it is started India Electric Mobility Index in August 2025. The main purpose of this index is to design, track, measure and compare how one state and union territories are progressing on their electric mobility ambitions. ఒక స్టేట్, ఒక యూనియన్ టెరిటరీ కంపేర్ టు అదర్ స్టేట్స్ ఎంత ప్రోగ్రెస్ ఉంది, ఎలక్ట్రిక్ వెహికల్స్ని యూజింగ్ కానీ అడాప్టింగ్ కానీ ఎంత ఉందని చెప్పడానికి ఈ ఇండెక్స్ని నీతి ఆయోగ్ 2025 ఆగస్ట్లో స్టార్ట్ చేసింది. సో కమింగ్ టు ద థర్డ్ టాపిక్, ఫార్మర్ సూసైడ్స్ ఇన్ ఇండియా, NCRB report 2023. So NCRB report 2023 report revealed that nearly more than 10,000 farmers and agriculture workers died by suicide, with Maharashtra and Karnataka regarding the highest numbers. So, most common issues of suicides are: first one is debt burden. Farmers debt తీసుకుంటారు, అవి కట్టలేక హై ఇంట్రెస్ట్ పే చేయలేక దే ఆర్ డెbt burden, and this is one of the major cause. The second one is crop failures. Crop depends on monsoons and droughts, floods. Because of these and all, farmers will unable to recover the investments and there will be loss. And market volatility, price fluctuations in key crops like cotton, soybean, onion, tomatoes, pulses, etc. every year. So policy gaps, inadequate crop insurance given to the farmers, and lack of irrigation coverage and insufficient procurement by the government from the farmers. These are all the major causes for the suicides committed by the farmers. So key takeaway. So coming to the data, total farmer suicides in 2023 reduced from compared to 2022 and 2021. But still, nearly more than 10,000 farmers are attempting suicide every year. So, coming to the farmers, cultivators, and agricultural workers. Farmer cultivators, they are the persons who own the land, and agricultural workers are the persons who work on others' land, and they don't have any land, and they don't have any land rights also. So, coming to comparing between the farmers and cultivators and agricultural workers are committing more suicides. That is 56.5% of the total suicides are committed by the agricultural workers, and 43.5% of the suicides are committed by farmers or cultivators. So out of total suicides in 2023, the farmer suicides are nearly 6.3%. So coming to demographic breakdown, the comparison between female farmer and male farmer, males are committing more suicides when compared to the female farmers or cultivators. And this is same in the case of agricultural workers also. Compared to male, female are committing less suicides. We can see that nearly 4,000 suicides are committed by the male, and only 137 are committed by the female. And it is same in the agriculture workers also. So statewide distribution of farmers suicides. The top states are: Maharashtra is leading the report with 38.5% of the persons are committing the suicides in the state, and it is followed by Karnataka with 22.5%, and followed by Andhra Pradesh with 8.6%, and Madhya Pradesh and Telangana and Tamil Nadu followed by AP. So some states like West Bengal, Bihar, Odisha, Jharkhand, Himachal Pradesh, Goa, Manipur, Mizoram, Nagaland, these states are having low number of suicides or no suicides as per the report. And when we see from 2025 to 2023, the suicides committed by the farmers, it is not like they are the rate is continuously decreasing or continuously increasing. The rate is like decreasing, increasing. That is the trend. So regional insights and focus areas. The mostly suicides are committed have consistently high suicides. Maharashtra and Karnataka have consistently high suicide rate when compared to the other states, particularly in the cotton belts. So Maharashtra and Vidarbha regions are considered high suicide regions driven by cotton and soybean crisis. And West Bengal, Bihar, Orissa, these states have reported zero suicides, maybe, which is not accurate according to some farmer groups. High suicide rates in major crops like cotton and soybean areas. Farmers organization viewpoint. According to the All India Kisan Sabha president, some of their viewpoints are like from continuously 3 years, farmer suicides are more than 10,000. So it is also says that there is a systematic crisis in the government. Government has failed to address these issues. Maybe government has taken care by giving financial assistance and other schemes, but still the number of farmer suicides are not reducing below 10,000 from the past few years. From the past 2015 to 2023, the number has not been reduced below 10,000. So the other reasons are free trade agreements. The government has removed the importing duties on cotton. that is 11% duty it has removed. So it will worsen the situation by flooding the market with cheaper cotton, cheaper foreign cotton, that is mostly US cotton. And cotton belt crisis, particularly in Vidarbha and Maharashtra region, it is increased by FTA related policies. And some cases in some states, underreporting of the suicides are also mostly possible in some states like West Bengal and Odisha. So coming to the fourth topic, World Para Athletic Championship 2025. It was recently inaugurated at Jawaharlal Nehru Stadium in New Delhi. India is hoisting the 12th World Para Athletic Championship 2025 for the first time in Delhi from 27th September to 5th October. And this is also the first time this championship is held in South Asia. So nearly 70 athletics competing in 187 medal events from 1100 countries. So India's medal tally when compared to 2020, 2015 and 2025, it has increased from 2 silvers to 17 medals. 2015 it was held in Doha and 2024 it is held in Kobe. In 2015 we got only 2 silvers, but in 2024 we got 17 medals, which reflects that we have improved our strength in sports, growing strength in the sports. Key Indian starts to watch are Sumit, who is from javelin, Preeti Paul sprints, Praveen Kumar high jump, Dharambir club throw, Navadeep javelin, and among others. These are the awards who we can hope for. So till October 3, some of the para athletes who got the awards is Indian para athlete Nishad Kumar. He won gold medal in men's high jump category. Simran Sharma, she claimed yellow medal in T12 sprint category. Paradeep Kumar clinched bronze medal in men's discus throw event. At the same time, Preeti Pal won the bronze medal in women's 200 meters T35 event. So what is the current India's position is, by October 3, 2025, India currently stands at 4th position with 6 gold, 5 silver and 4 bronze, the totally 14 medals. So Brazil stands at top with 37 medals including 12 gold, and followed by China with 9 yellow medals, and followed by Poland with 15 medals. So coming to historical background of World Para Athletics Championship, it was started in 1960. It was so going back to 1950s. It was para athletics traces its origin back to Stock Mandeville Games in the early 1950, when injured World War II veterans first competed in javelin events, and then later sports event increased year by year. For the first time, this para athletics championship was held at Rome in 1960.
Hello everyone. As you all know, Civil Services Prime Time is one of its kind initiative where we are teaching the students current affairs related to that particular subject one day at a time. అంటే ఒక వారంలో జరిగిన కరెంట్ అఫైర్స్ అన్ని ఒక సబ్జెక్ట్ కి సంబంధించి మేము ఒక రోజులో చెప్తున్నాం. సో దిస్ ఈజ్ ఆల్ బికాస్ ఆఫ్ ద రివర్స్ ఇంజనీరింగ్ టెక్నిక్. బికాస్ మీరు ప్రతి వీడియో చూసినట్టయితే ఎండ్ లో ప్రీవియస్ ఇయర్ క్వశ్చన్స్ ప్రిలిమ్స్ చేస్తున్నాము, అలాగే ఒక క్వశ్చన్ మెయిన్స్ చేస్తాం. సో in order to get daily updates at 7 o'clock sharp as we are doing it, subscribe చేసుకోండి, అలాగే bell కూడా click చేయండి, so that 7 o'clock కి మీకు immediate గా notification వస్తుంది.
So the next topic is Young Championship of the Earth Award 2025. It was recently announced by United Nations Environment Program. Award Young Championship of the Earth Award are, so coming to the fifth topic, Young Championship of the Earth Award 2015. So coming to the details, it is recently released and 3 persons from India, Kenya and US got this award. These awards were mainly announced by, it is the flagship initiative of United Nations Environment Program. It was launched in 2017, established in 2017. It was relaunched in 2025 in partnership with Planet A. So it is given by United Nations Environment Program, supported by philanthropic and private partners. What is the main aim of this award? To empower young innovators tackling 3 planetary crises. The first one is climate change, the second one is biodiversity loss, and the third one is pollution or waste. So who are eligible for this award? The first, who are below 30 years individuals are eligible for this award. So it offers recognition, funding and mentoring from projects with scalable environment impact. So what are the features of this award? The winner will receive nearly $20,000 seed funding, and they also get the intensive training and mentorship, global recognition, and then further funding for the projects also they will receive nearly like 1 million. So who are the 2025 winners of this award? The first one is Dinali Modi from India. She is the founder of Benofi Leather. She got this award for producing eco-friendly leather from banana crop waste. So by this we can reduce water use, chemical pollutions and carbon emissions. The second one is Joseph Niguturu Kanya. She is from Kenya. So she is the founder of Hapak. She converts invasive water hyacinth to biodegradable packaging and seedling vapors. So it resulted in reducing single-use plastics. It is also related to environment, and this is also related to environment. The third person who got this award is Naomi Flora. He is from United States. So he is the founder of CliQ. He developed a compact groundwater grey water reuse system for households, turning wastewater into డ్రింకింగ్ వాటర్, వేస్ట్ వాటర్ని డ్రింకింగ్ వాటర్గా యూజ్ చేసే టెక్నాలజీని తను డెవలప్ చేశారు. దీనికి సో విత్ లో ఎనర్జీ కన్సంప్షన్. దిస్ ఈజ్ ఆల్సో రిలేటెడ్ టు ఎన్విరాన్మెంట్. సో కమింగ్ టు ద UNEP. వాట్ ఈస్ UNEP? United Nations Environment Program is the United Nations leading global authority on the environment. It was founded in 1972. Its headquarters is in Nairobi, Kenya. So its objectives are from protecting species to restoring ozone layer. So UNEP facilitated many international agreements to take global environmental action throughout the years from 1972 to 2025. Today UNEP hosts the United Nations Environment Assembly, the world's highest level decision making body on the environment, with a universal membership of nearly 193 members. So the sixth topic is Business Line Change Maker of the Year. So it is recently news because 7th edition of these awards were recently released, and the award was focused on education, social welfare, environment of these are the three categories this edition has been more focused on. What are the education, social welfare, empowerment of the marginalized communities? So coming to the details of the award, who gives this? This was given by Hindu Business Line. That is the publication of Hindu Group. So when did it start? Eppudu start ayindante first edition held in March 2018 in New Delhi. So to mark Business Line's 25th year. So what is it? Ee award enduku istaru ante it recognizes individuals or organizations whose ideas or innovations will help or improve society ni, economy ni, planet ni improve చేస్తుందో లేదా హార్మ్ కాకుండా సేఫ్గా ఉంచుతుందో అలాంటి ఐడియాస్కి ఎవరైతే ఆ ఐడియాస్ని ఏ ఇండివిజువల్ అయితే ఆ ఐడియాస్ని తీసుకొచ్చారో, ఏ ఆర్గనైజేషన్స్ అయితే ఆ ఐడియాస్ తీసుకొచ్చారో వాళ్ళకి అవార్డ్స్ ఇస్తారనమాట. సో ఈ దానిలో టోటల్గా 7 కేటగిరీస్ ఉన్నాయి. సో ఫస్ట్ కేటగిరీ సోషల్ ట్రాన్స్ఫర్మేషన్ అవార్డ్. సోషల్ ట్రాన్స్ఫర్మేషన్. సో అవార్డ్ ఇట్ సెల్ఫ్ సేస్ సొసైటీలో ఏమన్నా చేంజెస్. సో ఇట్ వాజ్ రిసిపియంట్ ఈస్ హసీనా. So the recipient is Hasina Harbibi Impulse NGO Network. She got this award for the contributions of anti-trafficking efforts, rehabilitation of vulnerable women and children from rat hole mining in Meghalaya. The second category is Digital Transformation Award. So this recipient of this is Bashni, Bashni. This is the government project. So key contributions of this recipient is AI, artificial intelligence based platform, improving translation accuracy. ఏఐని ఉపయోగించి ట్రాన్స్లేషన్ని ఎంత యాక్యురేట్ చేశారో, ఎంత ఇంప్రూవ్ చేశారన్న దానికి భాషనికి దీనికి డిజిటల్ ట్రాన్స్ఫర్మేషన్ అవార్డ్ వచ్చింది. సెకండ్ వన్ ఇస్ ఫైనాన్షియల్ ట్రాన్స్ఫర్మేషన్ అవార్డ్. దిస్ కమ్ అండర్ ద కేటగిరీ ఆఫ్ ఎకానమీ. సో దిస్ వాజ్ recipient is Girijan Competitive Cooperative Corporation from Andhra Pradesh. The success of the key contribution is for the success of Arku Valley Coffee and empowering the tribal communities using AI and also empowering tribal communities, and using AI to support farmers. So the fourth category is Young Changemaker Award. This was the recipient is Kalyani Shinde. She is the founder of Godam Innovations. She developed India's first Internet of Things based on a storage device. The fifth one is Chairmanship Award. So this recipient is E Vidyaloka. This is a Bangalore based NGO bridging educational divide via digital classrooms. The key contribution of this E Vidyaloka is bridging educational divide via digital classrooms. The sixth one is Iconic Changemaker Award. This recipient is Ajim Premji Foundation. Ajim Premji Foundation got this award for their contributions are extensive work in education and healthcare. The final one is Changemaker of the Year Award. This was won by DRDO, Defense Research and Development Organization. The major key contributions is recognized for contributing during Operation Sindoor and securing India's borders, advanced India's defense technologies. So the seventh topic is World Tourism Day 2025. The Ministry of Tourism recently celebrated this day on 27th September 2025. So this year's theme is Tourism and Sustainable Transformation. So it is the initiative of United Nations World Tourism Organization's event WTO. It commemorates the adoption of United Nations WTO statute in 1970 and it was celebrated for the first time in 1980. United Nations World Tourism Organization was established in 1975. It is a specialized agency of the United Nations that promotes sustainable, responsible and universally accessible tourism. So in coming to the details of India's tourism sector, India tourism sector ela undi ante India recorded approximately 56 lakh foreign tourists till August 2025. India recorded nearly 300 crores of domestic tourist visits till August 2025. So the total number of foreign tourist arrivals increased 4.1% by 2025. So initiatives, what are the government initiatives to boost tourism sector in India? What are the schemes or programs initiated by central government to boost tourism sector in India? The first one is Swadesh Darshan. It is a centrally sponsored scheme. So it is sponsored by both states and central. So the objective's main focus area is integrated theme-based development of tourist circuits for infrastructure and connectivity. The second one is Swadesh Darshan. This is a revamped scheme of Swadesh Darshan 1, that is 2023. Revamped scheme in 2023. So the main objective is destination-centric and sustainable outcome-oriented development of high-potential tourist destinations. So the first one is tourism circuits and the second one is development of high-potential tourism destinations. The third one is challenge-based destination development. This is also subcomponent of Swadesh Darshan. So the main objective is competitive selection of destinations through innovation-based proposals. So the fourth one is Prasad, Pilgrimage, Rejuvenation and Spiritual Heritage Augmentation Drive. It was launched in 2014 to 15 and the main objective is development of pilgrim and heritage destinations. Dekho Apna Desh. This is launch series 2020 to encourage domestic travel awareness in India. The next one is Vibrant Villages program that is launched in 2023. This main aim is to promote tourism, culture and skill entrepreneurship in border villages to curb out migration and ensure village growth, inclusive growth. So coming to the next topic, K-Visa. ఈ K-Visa న్యూస్లో ఎందుకుందంటే చైనా రీసెంట్గా ఈ న్యూ వీసా కేటగిరీని ఇంట్రడ్యూస్ చేసింది ఫ్రమ్ అక్టోబర్. ఎప్పటి నుంచి అంటే 1st October 2025 via amendments in the regulations and administration of the entry and exit of foreigners. So who are eligible for this visa? Foreign youth from any country outside China, any foreign youth with a bachelor degree or higher in STEM from renowned domestic or international universities or research universities, and also foreign professionals engaged in education and research in STEM fields. What does it offer? How this visa differs from others? So greater flexibility. There are more greater flexibilities when compared to other visas than ordinary visas. The first one is multiple entries. The second one is longer validity. The third one is wider scope of activities, that is education, science, tech, culture, entrepreneurship, business, etc. And no local employee and no local employer sponsorship was needed while applying for this visa. So how it is positioned? So see, this K visa is an extension of R visa, which was started in 2013. This is to attract high talent from youngsters, science and tech talented people. So how K visa could be China's answer to Donald Trump work on H1B? It rolled out mainly at the time of United Nations tightening the H1B fee proposals. Potentially China can attract more global talent race under the STEM. The K visa is also a tool to compete or attract more talent from STEM, science, technology, engineering, mathematics talent from various countries to China. So topic of the importance of this week is Crime in India 2023. Recently, National Crime Records Bureau released this report. It shows a clear rise in reported cases across most categories. So about the report, it was released by National Crime Record Bureau under Ministry of Home Affairs. The significance is this report's reflection is not only on criminality but also of governance, how efficiency of the policies, and citizens' trust in reporting mechanisms. So the crime figures indicates ట్రెండ్స్ ఇన్ రిపోర్టింగ్ బిహేవియర్ ఎలా ఉంది, డేటా రికార్డింగ్ ఎలా ఉంది, ఇన్స్టిట్యూషనల్ రెస్పాన్సివ్నెస్ ఎలా ఉంది, ఎఫెన్సెస్ మాత్రమే కాకుండా ఇవన్నీ కూడా వీటిల్లో ఒక పార్ట్గా ఉన్నాయి ఈ రిపోర్ట్లో. సో కమింగ్ టు ద కీ ఫైండింగ్స్ ఆఫ్ దిస్ రిపోర్ట్. సో ఐపీసీ కేసెస్, ఇండియన్ పీనల్ కోడ్ కేసెస్ కింద కేసెస్ గురించి తీసుకుంటే 2022తో కంపేర్ చేస్తే 2023లో కేసెస్ ఇంక్రీజ్ అయ్యాయి. సో స్పెషల్ అండ్ లోకల్ లాస్ కేసెస్ టోటల్గా 24 lakhs ఉన్నాయి. సో రైస్ రిఫ్లెక్ట్స్, ఈ రైస్ అన్నది ఇదేంటి రిఫ్లెక్ట్ చేస్తుందంటే పోస్ట్ పాండమిక్ తర్వాత పబ్లిక్ నార్మలైజ్ అయ్యారు, అలానే రిపోర్టింగ్ అండ్ ట్రాన్స్పరెన్సీ, రిపోర్టింగ్ పెరిగింది, ఎఫ్ఐఆర్ రిజిస్ట్రేషన్స్ పెరిగాయి అండ్ ట్రాన్స్పరెన్సీ పెరిగింది, అండ్ అలాగే పీపుల్ కమింగ్ అండ్ రిపోర్టింగ్ ఆల్సో ఇంక్రీస్డ్. సో స్టేట్ వైజ్ ప్యాటర్న్గా తీసుకుంటే హైయెస్ట్ నెంబర్ ఆఫ్ ఇండియన్ పీనల్ కోడ్ కేసెస్ ఆర్ ఇన్ ఉత్తరప్రదేశ్. కేరళలో హైయెస్ట్ క్రైమ్ రేట్ ఈజ్ ఇన్ కేరళ. ఇట్ రిఫ్లెక్ట్స్ బెటర్ రిపోర్టింగ్ అండ్ పోలీస్ డాక్యుమెంటేషన్ ఆల్సో. నాగాల్యాండ్లో చాలా తక్కువ ఉంది. దిస్ ఈజ్ ఆల్సో లైక్లీ డ్యూ టు అండర్ రిపోర్టింగ్ ఆర్ వీక్ పాలసీ ఇన్ఫ్రాస్ట్రక్చర్. సో క్రైమ్స్ అగెనిస్ట్ ఉమెన్ ఈ కేటగిరీ కింద టోటల్గా 2022తో కంపేర్ చేస్తే 2023లో 1% ఇంక్రీజ్ ఉంది. సో హైయెస్ట్ రేట్ ఈజ్ ఇన్ రాజస్థాన్ అండ్ ద లోయెస్ట్ ఈజ్ ఇన్ మేఘాలయ. సో యూనియన్ టెరిటరీస్ తీసుకుంటే హైయెస్ట్ ఈజ్ ఇన్ ఢిల్లీలో రాజస్థాన్లో హై రిపోర్టింగ్ ఉంది. సో క్రైమ్ అగెనిస్ట్ చిల్డ్రన్ క్రైమ్ అగెనిస్ట్ చిల్డ్రన్ తీసుకుంటే ఫస్ట్ వన్ ఈజ్ 2022తో కంపేర్ చేస్తే 2023లో ఇంక్రీజ్ అనే ఉంది. అలానే రీజనల్గా తీసుకుంటే స్టేట్ వైజ్ తీసుకుంటే మధ్యప్రదేశ్ టాప్ ఆఫ్ ద లిస్ట్, ఫాలోడ్ బై మహారాష్ట్ర అండ్ ఉత్తరప్రదేశ్. రీజన్ ఎందుకు పెరిగాయంటే రైజింగ్ అవేర్నెస్ ఆఫ్ పాస్కో యాక్ట్, NGOs విజిలెన్స్ అండ్ పేరెంట్స్ యాక్టివిజం. ఇంటర్ప్రిటేషన్ ఈజ్ రిఫ్లెక్ట్ సోషల్ ఆల్టర్నెస్ రెదర్ దాన్ సర్జ్ ఇన్ పబ్లిక్ అబ్యూస్. ఇవి పెరగడానికి రీజన్ తీసుకుంటే రీజన్స్ ఆర్ రైజింగ్ అవేర్నెస్ ఆఫ్ పాక్సో యాక్ట్ అండ్ NGOs విజిలెన్స్ అండ్ పేరెంట్ యాక్టివిజం. Coming to the category of cyber crimes when compared to 2023, 31% increased when compared to 2022. Nearly 10 fraudsలో 8 frauds అన్నవి cyber crimes కానీ ఉన్నాయి. So this was topped by this categoryలో కర్ణాటక it tops. It is followed by తెలంగాణ. దీనికి మెయిన్ రీజన్ ఏంటంటే డిజిటల్ ఎక్స్పోజర్ ఎక్కువ అయిపోయింది, ఎకనామిక్ మోడర్నైజేషన్. డిజిటలైజేషన్ ఫ్యూల్స్ బోత్ ఇన్కన్వీనియన్స్ అండ్ వల్నరబిలిటీ. సో ఛార్జ్ షీటింగ్ అండ్ పెండెన్సీస్ తీసుకుంటే ఛార్జ్ షీటింగ్ రేట్ ఐపీసీలో 72.7% ఉంది. 2 టాప్ కీప్ పర్ఫార్మింగ్ ఆర్ కేరళ అండ్ పాండిచ్చేరి అండ్ ద థర్డ్ వన్ ఈజ్ ఆంధ్రప్రదేశ్. మిజోరాం రిపోర్టెడ్ నియర్లీ 100% ఛార్జ్ షీట్ రేట్. ఛార్జ్ షీటింగ్ రేట్ మేఘాలయలో 100% ఉంది. డిస్పైట్ దిస్ 3 కేసుల్లో ఒక కేసు ఆల్రెడీ పెండింగ్గానే ఉంది మన ఇండియాలో. కన్విక్షన్స్ అండ్ జ్యుడిషియల్ బ్యాక్లాగ్. కన్విక్షన్ రేట్ ఇట్ రిఫ్లెక్ట్స్ జ్యుడిషియల్ ఎఫిషియన్సీ డిలేస్, మెయిన్లీ డిలేస్. ఈ డిలేస్లో కన్విక్షన్ రేట్ 95% ఇన్ మిజోరాం, 89% కేరళ, ఓన్లీ 15% ఇన్ అస్సాం. అంటే మిజోరాంలో కన్విక్షన్స్ అండ్ జ్యుడిషియల్ బ్యాక్లాగ్ అన్నది 95% ఉంది, అలానే కేరళలో 89% ఉంది. సో క్రైమ్ డేటా ఇంటర్ప్రిటేషన్. హై నెంబర్స్ లీడ్స్ టు హై నెంబర్స్ రిఫ్లెక్ట్స్ హై డేంజర్, దట్ ఈస్ లో నెంబర్స్ రిఫ్లెక్ట్స్ మోర్ సేఫ్టీ. యూపీలో మోర్ కేసెస్ ఉన్నాయి. సో యూపీ ఈజ్ మోస్ట్ అన్సేఫ్ and small states with low crime are the safest. So coming to previous questions, prelims are first one is which of the following statements about PM e-drive launched in 2025 is are correct. The scheme will remain in force until March 31st March 2026. This is correct. One of the key aims of PM E-Drive is to provide direct subsidies to petrol and diesel vehicles to improve the fuel efficiency. This is not correct. Direct beneficial to not the petrol and diesel. This is to electric vehicles. The scheme includes provision to support the development of EV charging infrastructure. So nearly 2,000 crores have been allocated for the EV charging infrastructure. So third statement is also correct. The second statement is wrong, and the first statement is correct. PM E-Drive focus exclusively on private vehicle ownership. This is not the drives not exclusively on private. Public is also there. So the correct option is only 1 and 3. Second question: which of the following statements are true about PM Kisan scheme launched by Department of Agriculture and Corporation and Farmers Welfare? So it has been operational since 2017, operational since 2018. The first statement is wrong. So PM Kisan Samman Nidhi is a central sector scheme. This is correct, with 100% funding from the central government. So the second statement is correct.
Civic Center IAS is offering Telangana Group 1 Prelims cum Mains classes as well as Andhra Pradesh Group 1 Prelims cum Mains classes in English medium for a period of 8 to 10 months. This also covers the complete NCERT textbooks and statewide textbooks. So what are you waiting for? Learn through reverse engineering technique today. Admissions are in progress. Join now. Visit our website. Thank you.